Iconographic textures, like the forested areas represented by trees on this map, are somewhat difficult to work with because you can't just make patterns to fill them out. This is because any pattern cuts off at the edge of the path shape you put it in, so if there's a tree on the edge, it will draw half a tree. This will make your map look like someone did a bad wallpapering job. I wish there was a way to tell Illustrator to draw whole objects at the edges of pattern fills, but there isn't. So for now, we're stuck making iconographic textures by creating symbols and placing them without much of an automated method. So to start off with, let's go back to our sample document here and make a new layer for trees. And now we're just going to draw a tree. So I'm going to get my pen tool and draw sort of a lumpy looking tree crown here. Give it a 2-point stroke. And I'm going to use these line profiles here to give it a little bit of a taper on both ends. And then I'll take the pen tool and draw a stump and use the width tool to make that a little bit stylized as well. So there's our tree. And I'm going to select both of those objects and right click and make a group out of them so that if we disconnect this tree from the symbol that we're about to create, the crown and the stump will still be connected as part of a single group, so it'll be easier to move them around. So now I can come up to the symbols palette here, and we've got these 6 symbols that just sort of came with our Illustrator document, and I'm going to select them and delete them because they're really not useful to us. And then I'm going to take our group here that's a tree and just drag it into the symbols palette. I'll call it tree 1. It's a graphic, and I'll keep the center registration point. That's fine. Click OK. So now we have a symbol there for a tree. There is a slightly automated way of placing these trees on the landscape. I'm going to start out though by going and double clicking on my symbol and editing it slightly. It seems a little bit large for the scale of my map. Maybe that's better. Double click to get back out, and that's a more appropriate size for the scale of my map. So the slightly automated way of placing these symbols is with something called the symbol sprayer tool, which is down here. It looks like a spray can. And if I select the symbol I want to use, I've only got one right now, so that's easy, and then select the symbol sprayer, I get this spray can with a circle around it. I can change the size of the spray by using the bracket keys on the keyboard. So left bracket is making it smaller, and the right bracket is making it larger. And if I double click on the symbol sprayer tool, I get some options for the diameter there, which I was changing with the bracket keys. Something called the intensity of the spray, the density of the symbols that it will spray. Make that a little bit higher density, and click OK. And now if I start clicking with that symbol sprayer tool and holding it down, I'm just going to start drawing these trees on the landscape. Now, the annoying thing about the symbol sprayer tool in Illustrator CS5 is that it's got this real performance lag once you get up beyond, say, 20 or 30 trees on the screen, or 20 or 30 symbols. It starts really slowing down, and so it becomes a much less natural tool to use. And that's too bad, because it would really be a helpful way of being able to place these. There are all sorts of tools underneath the symbol sprayer tool here for shifting them, scrunching them, changing the size, spinning, etc. And it's handy that the symbols are in this sort of sprayer group here, because you can use all those tools and they also retain their relationship with the symbol. So if we were to go back in here and edit the symbol, maybe make the stroke size here a little bit smaller for both of those, then it's going to automatically update all of these symbols here. Unfortunately, because of that sort of because of how difficult it becomes to work with that symbol sprayer once you get a lot of symbols on the screen, it's really somewhat necessary to come over to the symbols panel and break the link to the symbols for the symbols in this group. So I'm just going to click on that little broken chain icon there, And what that'll do is here in our trees layer, you can see there's now a group with all of these groups, one group for each of the trees underneath it. I'm going to go ahead and lift the individual tree groups outside of this over-encompassing group that represented the symbol sprayer group. And this way I can go and edit the position of these symbols one by one. And so this symbol sprayer tool really becomes just a way of getting a lot of symbols onto the screen, but then you can probably expect to go back and just do some fine adjustments at the position of your symbols on an individual basis with each of them.